We've been talking a lot about Yahshua and true followers of Yahshua and his disciples. Um, a lot of people will look past women when it comes to Yahshua and his disciples, right? A lot of people look past women in general and say women are not leaders, are not supposed to teach, or what have you or what not. But not me. I ain't forget y'all ladies. And y'all are leaders. And y'all are very powerful. And I'm gonna give y'all some examples. First and foremost, we gotta start off with Mary. Yep. The mother of Yahshua, right? The mother of our Savior, our Messiah. She was chosen. She was chosen by Yah for a divine mission, right? To give birth to our Messiah. Praise Yah, and we thank Mary. Man, there's a lot of religions out there that they worship Mary. So we can see that, it's women that are very important. Like, give you some more names, right? I'm gonna give you some more names. Esther, Rahab, Deborah, Sephora, Pooh, Joel, Moses' mother, the Pharaoh's daughter, Abigail, and Ruth. And we're going to jump into some scripture, and I'm going to give y'all some examples like that. Let's start off with Rahab, right? Let's see what the scriptures say about her and Joshua. We're going to go to Joshua. Let's go to Joshua. And we're going to go to verse 2. Let's go to chapter 2. And let's see. Let's go to chapter 2. And we'll start off with verse 1. Chapter 2. So we at Joshua. Hebrew word for Joshua is Yahshua, right? Yahshua. But we are talking about not the Messiah Yahshua. We're talking about Yahshua, son of Nun. Secretly sent out 2 men for Shittim to spy, saying, "Go see the land of Jericho." And they went and came to the house of a woman of a whore, and her name was Rahab. And they lay down there. Okay. But it was reported to the sovereign of Jericho, saying, "See, the men from the children of Israel have come here and search out the land." And the sovereign of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, "Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered your house, for they have come to search out the land." But the woman had taken the 2 men and hid them. So she said, "The men came to me, but I did not know where they were from." Then it came to be, as the gate was being shut, when it was dark, that the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly, so that you overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof and hidden them with the stalks of the flax, which she had laid out on the roof. And the men pursued them by the way of the Jordan to the fords, and they shut the gate afterwards, as soon as the pursuers had gone out. And before they lay down, she came up to them on the roof. And she said to the men, I know that Yahweh has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of you. For we have heard how Yahuwah dried up the waters of the Sea of Reeds for you when you came out of Mizraim, and what you did to the two sovereigns of Amorite and who were beyond the Jordan, Shion and Og, whom you put under the ban. And when we heard, our hearts melted, and there was no spirit left in him, anyone, because of you. For Yahuwah your Elohim, he is the Elohim in the heavens above, on the earth beneath. And now please swear to me by Yahuwah, since you have shown kindness, since I have shown kindness, right? Since she has shown kindness, she wanted them to swear to them, that you also will show kindness to my father's house and show me a true token. She wanted a true token, right? Okay. And shall spare my father and my mother and my brothers and my sisters and all that I have, and shall deliver our lives from death. Right? And the men said to her, our lives for yours. If you do not expose this matter of ours, then it shall be, when Yahuwah has given us the land, that we shall treat you in kindness and truth. So she let them down by rope through a window of her house, and of her house was on the city wall, and she dwelt on the city wall, right? Yeah. So you can see that she was chosen, right? Y'all chose her to hide these men, and she did. And they made an oath with her, right? And this is, I'm going to just go scroll down, make it real quick, right? And they came back, right? They made it away. Let's go to the 6. Let's go to 6. Let's go to Joshua 6. Joshua 6, 20 through 25. And see what happened when the men came back to Rahab, right? Rahab. And all the people shouted. We on Joshua 6, 20, 25. And all the people shouted when the priest blew the ram's horn. And it came to be, when the people heard the sound of the horn, that the people shouted with a great shout, and the wall fell flat, and the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they captured the city. And they put under a ban all that was in the city, both man and women, old, young and old, ox, sheep, donkey, with the edge of the sword, right? And the two men who had spied out the land said, go into the house of the women, the whore, and from there bring out the woman and all that she has, that as you swore to her. And the young men, the spies, went in and brought out Rahab, her father, her mother, her brothers, and all that she had, so they brought out all her relatives and set them outside the camp of Israel. And they burned the city and all that was in it with fire. Only silver and gold and the vessels of bronze and iron they put into the treasury of the house of Yahuwah. However, Yahshua kept alive Rahab, the whore, her father's household, and all that she had, and she dwelt in the midst of Israel until this day. because she had hid the messengers whom Yahshua sent to spy out Jericho. So we can appreciate Rahab because she was chosen, and she to be on a mission to protect those spies, right? And to hide them and to send them out through her window, give them direction, right? And she saved her whole household just by doing that one thing, right? Let's go see what Deborah was talking about. We're going to go to Judges. Let's go to Judges. Judges 4. Let's go to Judges 4, and let's start off at verse 4 through 6. Judges 4, verse 4 through 6. And this is talking about Deborah. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Labath, was ruling Israel at the time, right? Was ruling Israel at the time. A prophetess, the wife, so she was married. She had headship, right? She had headship. She had a husband. He wasn't ruling. She was ruling Israel at that time, right? Let's keep going. And she was dwelling under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethlah in the mountains of Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for right ruling. So she was a judge, right? And she sent in Barak, son of Abinon, from Kodesh in Naphtali, and said to him, has not Yahuwah, your Elohim of Israel, commanded you to go? Go you, and you shall draw towards the Mount Tabor, and shall take with you 10,000 men and sons of Naphtali and sons of Zebulun. Right? So you can see she was a commander too. We can appreciate that. She was a commander. And she commanded him to take 10,000 men. So she was definitely a leader, right? Let's go and see verse 22 of that same chapter, right? Judges 4, verse 22. See what that says. As Barak pursued Syria, Yoel came. Okay? So now we're talking about Joel. Now, Joel is different than Deborah, okay? So we was talking about Deborah. Now, Deborah was a commander, right? And a leader of Israel at that time. Now, Yoel, she lived in a different city or town or whatever you call it. And the leader that she sent, right? So she sent Barak, right? She sent Barak out with those 10,000 men. And they pursued this guy right here, Sisera. And Yoel came out to meet him and said to him, come, let me show you the man whom you are seeking. Hold up, okay. All right. So let me back up a little bit. So that dude, right, that they was chasing, but Yoel, she took a tent peg in her hand and went softly into him and drove the peg in the side of his head, and he went down fast asleep and he died. Okay? And then she went out and met him to show him that he was dead with a peg in the side of his head. Okay. And that's gonna be in Judges 4. Judges 4, 21 and 22. And we can see again, you know what I'm saying? So Yoel, she was chosen, and she went hard. She daggone mm, it killed the man, you know what I'm saying? Let's go down to Judges 5. And let's see, Judges 5. Let's see, Judges 5. 7. Judges 5, 7. And again, this is Deborah. Just go over and show y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's female leaders and chosen ones out there. Leadership ceased. It ceased in Israel until Deborah, arose. A mother in Israel arose. Okay, so she was the mother, right? They call her the mother of Israel, right? Yeah. Leadership ceased. Let's go see Abigail. Let's see what Abigail was talking about in 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel. Let's go to 1 Samuel 25. 1 Samuel 25. First Samuel 25. Let's start off at verse 1. And Samuel died, and all of Israel gathered and mourned for him and buried him in his home in Ramah. And David arose and went down into the wilderness of Paran. Now, there was a man named Moan, and his work was in Carmel, and the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. And he came to be shearing his sheep in Carmel. And the name of that man was Nabal. And the name of his wife was Abigail. And she was a woman of good understanding and good looking. But the man was hard and evil at his doings. And he was of Caleb, right? So we can see women. All y'all women out there, y'all might be married and all that. And y'all married to somebody that ain't righteous, ain't right? Let's keep going. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal was shearing his sheep. And David sent 10 young men. And David said to the young men, go up to Carmel, and you should come to Nabal and greet him in my name. And say this, long life and peace to you, and peace to your house, and peace to all you have. Now I've heard that you have shearers and shepherds have been with us. We did not put them to shame, and not a speck of theirs was missing all the days they were in Carmel, right? They let them be, right? Okay. Ask your young men and let them inform you. So let my men find favor in your eyes, for we come on a good day. Please give whatever comes to your hand to your servants, to your son of David, right? So they went down there. They asked Nabal. He asked them for some stuff that they needed, right? Some of them sheep or goats, whatever, animals that he had. And so let's move on. The young men of David came and spoke to Nabal according to all these words in the name of David and waited. But Nabal answered the servants of David and said, who is David? And who is the son of Yishah? The servants who are running away from their masters have become many nowadays. Dang, he is so disrespectful, right? He's so disrespectful, not even understanding what was going on, why they was running, right? Why David was running for his life. Now he's being disrespectful. Let's see what else he said. And shall I take my bread and my water and my meat that I have slaughtered for my shearers and give them to men coming from who knows where? Man, totally disrespectful, right? And the young men of David turned around on their way and went back and came and reported to him all these words. Now let's see what David had to say. We all know David, he was a warrior, right? He was a soldier. You know what I'm saying? Let's go see. And David said to his men, each one guard his sword. So they each guarded their sword, and David also guarded his sword. About 400 men went with David, and 200 remained with the baggage. And one of the young men informed Abigail, the wife of Nabal, saying, see, David has sent messengers from the wilderness to greet our master, but he scoffed at them. But the men were very good to us and did not put us to shame, nor did we miss any item in the days we accompanied them when we were in the fields, right? They were a wall to us both by night and day, all the days we were with them, tending the sheep. And now I know, see, what you should do. For the evil has been resolved against our master and against all that he has his household, and he is too much of a son of Belial to speak to. Okay, let's keep going. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 skins of wine and 5 sheep, made ready 5 measures of roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisins, 200 cakes of figs, and loaded them on the donkeys. And she said to her servants, pass over before me, see, I am coming after you. But she did not inform her husband Nabal. A lot of men, they'll be like, oh, well, she ain't tell her husband, right? Well, let's keep going. Let's see. And it came to be as she rode on the donkey, and she went down and over the hill, and there was David and his men, and coming down toward her, and she met them. And David had said, only in vain I have protected all that this one has in the wilderness, so that not a speck was missing of all belongs to him. And he has repaid me evil for good. Let Elohim do so, and more also, to the enemies of David. If I leave one male of all who belongs to him by morning light, and he won't go leave nobody, alive, right? No males. He was coming there, right? Destroy something. You want to disrespect him? Let's see. And Abigail saw David, and she hasted and came down from the donkey and fell on her face before David and bowed down to the ground. See what else? And fell at his feet and said, my master, let this crookedness be on me. And please let your female servant speak in the ears and hear the words of your female servant. Please let not my master regard this man of Belial, Nabal. For as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, your female servant, do not see the young men of my master whom you sent. So she did not see those people that David sent, right? That asked for the stuff. Only he did, right? Because we supposed to, we're going to go to the man of the house, right? We're going to go to the man of the house. That's what you expect. You go to the man in the house because he's the leader, right? Let's keep going. And now my master, as Yahuwah lives, and as your being lives, since Yahuwah has withheld you from coming to bloodshed and from avenging yourself with your own hand, now then, let your enemy be as Nabal, even those seeking evil against my master. And now this present which your female servant has brought to the master, let it be given to the young men who follow the master. Please forgive the transgressions of your female servant, for Yahuwah is certainly making a steadfast house for my master, because my master fights the battles of Yahuwah, and evil is not found in you all your days. And if man rises to pursue you and seek your life, and the life of my master has been bound in the bundle of the living with Yahuwah your Elohim, then the lives of your enemies shall sling out as far as the pocket of a sling. And it shall be, when Yahuwah has done for my master according to all that is good and all that is spoken concerning you, and he has appointed you ruler over here Israel, do not let this be staggering and stumbling of heart to my master, that you have shed blood without cause on my master and saved himself. And when Yahuwah has done good, return my master the servants. Right? Just keep going. And David said to Abigail, blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, who sent you to meet me today. And blessed is your good taste, and blessed are you, because you have kept me this day from coming to bloodshed and from avenging myself my own hand. So we can see that she kept David from getting blood on his hands again, right? So that's a good thing. He don't want to kill nobody. Nevertheless, as Yahuwah Elohim of Israel lives, who has kept me back from doing evil to you? If you had not hurried and come to me, not a male would have been left to Nabal by break of day, for certain, for sure, right? So if it weren't for her, he would have been dead, and every male in that household would have been dead, right? Let's keep going. We're going to go down to 39. And David received from her hand what she had brought him, and said to her, go up in peace to your house, and see, I have listened to your voice, and have accepted your face. And Abigail went to Nabal, and he was and he was at a feast in his house, like the feast of the sovereigns, right? He had a lot of food. Right after, he done told David he couldn't have nothing, and was talking and talking shit, talking crap, you know what I'm saying, to him. And Nabal's heart was glad within him, and he was exceedingly drunk. And he was drunk. So she told him not a word, little or much, until morning light. She didn't even tell him. He drunk anyway. And it came to be in the morning, when the wine had gone, and Nabal, his wife, had told him these matters, that his heart died within him, and he became like stone. He was stuck. He was stuck. And she was like, what? Yeah. And it came to be in about 10 days that Yahuwah smote Nabal, and he died. See? And everything we do come back. Y'all came back 10 days later. He didn't want to repent. He was just stuck. Nothing. Right? And David heard that Nabal was dead, and he said, blessed be Yahuwah, who has pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and has kept his servant from evil. Yahuwah has returned the evil of Nabal on his own head. And David sent and spoke to Abigail to take her as a wife. And see, he done lost his wife, he lost his life, then he lost his wife. Quick. Lost his life, lost his wife. You know, that's just how it go. And We got I got one more. I got Ruth. Let's talk about Ruth real quick. I do got some scriptures that I want to go over with her. Let's see, 876. And Ruth, chapter 1, verse 15. 15 through 17. Let's go ahead and start. And she said, look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her mighty ones. Go back and follow your sister-in-law. But Ruth said, do not urge me to leave you or to go back from following after you. For wherever you go, I'll go. And wherever you stop over, I'll stop over. Your people and your Elohim is my Elohim. Where you die, I'll die, and there I shall be buried. Yahuwah, do so to me, and more also, for death itself parts you and me. Right? So Ruth clung to her mother-in-law Naomi, right? Because her husband died, she ain't had no kids, but we can see that Ruth was 878. Ruth then want to go. She clung to her mother-in-law. She won't going back to her people, right? That were serving other mighty ones. She won't going back. No. And if it wasn't for Ruth, I wanted to show y'all this. The book of Ruth records that people had no problem with calling Yahuwah by his name. This piece of history is also a great example of how Gentile is grafted in among the chosen people. Ruth, an ex-Moabite, became the great-grandmother of David. Okay? And that's why I wanted to leave off right there. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't even know that Ruth was the great-grandmother, for one, of our King David, right? And, a lot of people don't understand that King David was mixed. Okay? Mixed. Ruth was what you call white, Caucasian, whatever. And she clung to Naomi. And her people was her people, okay? And she married Boaz, and you know what I'm saying? And that's how King David came about. But anyway, we got a lot of examples we just went over. Like I said, Moses' mom put him in a basket, right? And when they was trying to kill all the Hebrew babies, and then Pharaoh's daughter, she seen the baby, and she could have easily been like, no, I'm not taking on that responsibility. My father or whatever wants to kill all of these Hebrew babies. Let them all die, right? And then we could see if it wasn't for Moses, then the children of Israel, when they got out of Egypt, right? Mizraim, right? And but Esther is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Esther is a good example of a chosen female. And she went into the king, right? And saved her people when they were trying to kill her people, right? So, and a lot of people will say that it's only 12 disciples, right? And we know one ended up betraying them. And then, he got taken out, right? And then we got another one. And a lot of people say, just say like that, like, oh, it's just swell. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm still doing my research because they be lying about a lot of stuff. And one of those things is everything, bro, almost everything about Yashua, right? But he loved Mary. I ain't talking about Mary Magdalene. I'm talking about Mary Magdalene, not Mary's mom or whatever. Of course, he loved his mom, but there's something about her, and I'm looking into it because it's women out. Y'all women are very powerful, and I commend y'all, respect y'all. You know what I'm saying? And are you chosen? I want to know, are you chosen? Because more likely, if you watching this video, you are. So go ahead, put your work in. You know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do for the Most High, y'all.